Recently, I've been doing a lot of hunting in the state of Missouri, and looking into hunting in other states really makes you kind of truly understand the depth of the Department of Conservation of different states that they go through, really to, I guess argue, to meet their mission of natural resource conservation. But when it comes to the hunting aspect of it, there's a lot of variables from state to state, but there's some commonalities there as well. And I want to take a moment and really talk about the legal things you should look for when you're picking out a firearm for hunting, because picking out a gun for hunting, there's all sorts of guns I'd love to use for hunting that I can't use in the state of Missouri or many other states, and there's maybe some states that I can use them. So I want to kind of address the things that you really want to look for, because oftentimes what we do is we go out and we buy a gun and then we start looking into hunting. So it's really important that you kind of understand before you buy that gun, what are the legal things that you should be looking for, regardless of what state you're in. I believe these are commonalities that you're going to find no matter what state. So really, here's the things that I believe there's at least 5 of them that you really need to look for. Number 1, capacity. There's many laws throughout this country, when, obviously state to state, that revolve around how many bullets you can have in your gun. In Missouri, when you're deer hunting, it's 3. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that I could just have 3 bullets with a maximum capacity of 10, for example. What it means is it needs to be a capacity of 3. So a shotgun I use for hunting takes magazines, so I got a 2-round magazine. That way I can have 1 in the chamber and 2 in a magazine, and that's really the right way to do it in the state of Missouri. So before you go hunting, before you go pick out that gun for hunting, make sure you understand what your capacity rules are, where you're going to go hunting. Typically it's 3. That's fairly typical. So, just kind of figure that out. Like, for example, the shotgun I use, if I had other magazines on me, I could obviously put more rounds through it. But when I go hunting, I just have that 1 2-round magazine on me. A lot of shotguns, you can change out the tube magazine, the fixed magazine that's on it. A lot of times you can put in a device that actually kind of limits capacity. So, just because the gun you picked isn't a 2-shot doesn't mean you can't use it. You just got to maybe do some modifications while you're hunting. And they're temporary modifications too, kind of like the magazine. But know your capacity. Number 2, caliber. Now, this may seem like a no-brainer because you're thinking to yourself, well, I'm going to pick the caliber based on what animal I'm hunting. Well, the logic may set in and you may think, obviously you need something like a 30 caliber bullet to shoot a deer, for example. But logic isn't in many people's heads in this country. So there's laws put in place that say, you can't hunt this animal with this caliber. For example, in many states, you can't hunt a deer with a .22 LR. Again, logic may set in and you're thinking, well, I wouldn't even do that. But apparently enough people have done it that it becomes rules and laws as you travel around. So make sure you understand, really the depth of the caliber needed for each animal, and know the laws. Because you may think, well, I could do that. I could definitely kill a deer with a .22 LR, but the law may say otherwise. So know the caliber laws that you're hunting with. Number 3, understanding lead material laws. Now, this is kind of a big one because finding ammo without lead in it is pretty hard. But a lot of waterways, like a lot of wetlands and things like that, like you may not be hunting ducks or any sort of waterfowl, but you're on that land and you can't have lead in many lands around this country because of the waterways. Mostly they don't want the lead in the waterways. So understanding, the lead material that you have in your ammo, a lot of places in Missouri, you can't even have lead ammo on you, let alone in your gun if you're in some of these wetlands. So really understanding kind of the ammo material, the understanding what material you need in your ammo is significant, because you may be just out minding your own business, doing a little squirrel hunting, and because you have lead ammo on you, you might be in a world of trouble. Now, in Missouri, the fines are huge. They are huge. They sometimes are 5 figures. It's big. When I started hearing the depths of the fines that are in Missouri, I thought, well, I'll go ahead and make sure I'm doing this right, because they're gigantic. Big old fines. Number 4, the type of ammo you're using. Now, this may seem kind of a no-brainer again, because you might say, well, I already picked the caliber, so I know what kind of ammo I'm using. But there's different areas that won't allow certain things like single projectiles. So, for example, an area that I hunted just last week, there are no single projectile firearms allowed. So, in other words, shotgun with some sort of shot in it, like not a deer slug. But you could use, anything else as long as it's got multiple projectiles in the one round. So, kind of understanding this aspect of it is really important when you're picking out a gun. So unless you had a shotgun, you couldn't hunt in that area at all. So you may be thinking to yourself, well, I'm going to go deer hunting, so I'm going to buy a 30-30, but you didn't check the area you wanted to hunt in, so you kind of just bought the wrong gun. So understanding those types of things is very significant, because there you could use buckshot, but you couldn't use a slug. So making sure that you understand really the type of ammo that you're going to use is very significant when picking out a gun. And again, I know it seems like a no-brainer, but it's significant. And finally, number 5, the animal you're hunting. I know that may seem dumb, but I think there's people that are kind of like, well, you just get this one gun and it can just do everything from squirrels to grizzly bears. This isn't true. And more so, you kind of go back to the caliber, the laws around the caliber. There's also laws around the type of, gun you're using for an animal. There's some states that restrict AR hunting. Understanding the animal you're hunting is very significant to the type of gun you're picking. Ideally, you have a small handful. I mean, I think that, in Missouri, if you have a .22, a shotgun, a good bolt rifle that's 30 caliber, something that's either a 30-30 lever or a bolt rifle, you got something like that. And a real accurate handgun that's a high caliber, because here you have an unconventional firearm season. So if you wanted to, you can get something like a .44 Magnum or a .357 Magnum revolver, and you can hunt with that. It just gives you an extra week or two to deer hunt if you want to hunt with a pistol. So as long as you have those, you can hunt everything in Missouri, but it's understate, like you can't, like I wouldn't go try to rabbit hunt with my .357 Magnum handgun. Could it be done? Sure, potentially, but, there's better options. So, and I think in the end, if you're going to be on conservation land specifically, federal land, state land, they're not gonna want you just doing nonsense. If you're gonna be hunting deer, you need a deer rifle. If you're gonna be hunting duck, you need a duck shotgun. If you're gonna be hunting rabbit, you need either a shotgun or a .22. Like, They don't, most places aren't going to put up with nonsense. And fines and penalties are huge. So there you go. There's what I believe to be 5 things that you got to look for as far as legality. You know, definitely check your capacity, your caliber, what kind of material is in your ammo, what type of ammo, single projectile, multiple projectiles, like that's a legal necessity. And the animal you're hunting. Make sure you get it appropriate for that animal. So there you go. Happy hunting to you. Good luck out there. Be curious what your state is like. Missouri is, I mean, I think they're pretty good. Their fines are huge, but all those fines go to the Department of Conservation and efforts towards conservation management. And they do a lot. Like you know, if you really look at what Missouri Conservation Department does, it's a lot. So, and we have a lot of great public lands in Missouri that you can hunt. It's just fascinating how much land you can hunt in Missouri. So, what's your state like? Any thoughts or insight? Definitely put that below. Do want to take a moment and say most people watch this channel, not subscribers. Click that subscribe button. It greatly increases the algorithm and our ability to get these messages out. That link is below. But the most important part of this channel, we take prayer requests. So please don't ever hesitate to send that in. Thank you for watching this episode of God, Family, and Guns. And as always, love God, love your family, and love guns.